us facing our fears, laughing through the chaos and drinking some beers. So here's to the laughs, the grunts and the cheers, all the awkward moments, and we're still here. Cause in the end we're just doing our thing. It's our crazy life, oh, one more thing. Oh, one more thing. Oh!
Welcome to Oh and One More Thing, a podcast where two longtime friends try to figure out what the heck is going on with this crazy thing called middle age.
It's a mix of stories of how we navigate our lives and maybe some questionable advice.
Some days we're wise, other days we're just trying to remember where the heck we left our phone.
So join us as we laugh, groan, and maybe even learn a little something about surviving in the second half of life. Oh, and one more thing.
Hello, I'm Brian. Welcome to Oh and One More Thing.
Hey, I'm Rob. Hey, everybody. So tonight, we're recording this, is a little different for us.
It is different.
And I'm kind of excited because normally we record these on some random night during the week, but this one we're doing on a Saturday night.
And I have a beer.
I have not a beer. I have a carbless this evening. So hopefully a little more loosey-goosey tonight than we normally do.
I'm never loosey-goosey.
No, but kind of exciting because why are we doing this on a Saturday night, Brian? What's your wife got going on tonight?
She is going to the opera.
Yeah.
It was a birthday gift from two of her daughters.
Right. That sounds wicked boring to me.
No. I'm sure it's very fun and exciting.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure they're having a great time. So what's the good word, my friend?
It's getting really nice outside.
It is.
It's lake time and cabin time. Mm-hmm. You got your boat out yet?
We did, yeah. So Memorial Day weekend. Yes, that's when usually in Minnesota, that's when we tend to drop a boat in the water if you're not a fisher person, which I'm not.
I'm not a fisher person either.
It's not my thing. We just like to go out and hang out in the water and drink and listen to tunes and just kind of chill out for the day. Yeah, so about 4 years ago, we bought a new pontoon, a Sea-Doo Switch.
Yeah,
which
tell me about that.
You've seen and you've been on it.
I've been on it, but it's different than your regular pontoons that we're all familiar with.
It is, and it's quite fun. So it's a Sea-Doo, so the hull of it is actually a Sea-Doo jet ski hull. It's a jet ski motor in there.
Yeah.
And they basically attach a pontoon to it. When they first came out about 4 years ago, we had it on the lake, and people just, I can't tell you how many people came up to us and were just fascinated with it. And it's super fun. We can do lots of fun things with it. We tow the girls behind, and they wakeboard, and we tube behind it.
All the fun things.
All the fun things. It's not quite a jet ski. I think that's a misconception when people see it or they buy it initially, like, oh, I'm just going to get a really fast jet ski. No, it's still a pontoon, people. It's meant to cruise and that kind of thing, but you can still have some fun with it. But so that's been pretty fun. And what we have not done yet is we have not brought it up to your cabin.
You have not.
We have not.
We're going to get that on the agenda.
Absolutely. But you guys were up there recently, right?
Yeah. So we were up there over Memorial Weekend. Mm-hmm. It was really nice being there again. We haven't been there all winter, but the water's still a little cold.
Yep.
We had a great time hanging out on the deck, having campfires. Mm-hmm. And even though it's fun this time of year, it's also the time of year that the creepy crawly things start coming out.
Out of the woodwork.
Does that creep you out? Mm-hmm. Like spiders, snakes, things like that?
So yes and no. I don't get creeped out about like spiders in the house, like, go smash a spider and get rid of that kind of thing. What does kind of freak me out a little bit is when I'm walking through the yard and a garter snake comes slithering by. It more just startles me. I know they're harmless. Yeah. They're not going to jump and attack. I get it. I played with them as a kid, but
they will bite you.
Yeah.
It doesn't leave a mark.
No, they're totally harmless. And I think we have a little nest kind of in our house by our garage because we've seen them slither down between the pavement and disappear. So I'm sure there's some huge nest with like 80,000 snakes under there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so startled, yes. Freaked out or a fear, probably not. But yes, a little freaked out.
So it really creeps out my daughters and my wife to see these things. Yeah. And, for me, not so much, unless, they don't really bother me. I obviously have to go kill the spider and everything. But unless one crawls over the top of my foot, then I'm like, oh my gosh, gross.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Kind of freaks you out. Did I ever tell you about the king scorpion?
No. What's that?
Okay. So at a former employer, and I know that I do graphics work. Yeah. We were working on, this is quite a few years ago when the Mummy Returns DVD came out, and we're selling that on the ad. Yeah. And I got this great idea is like, could we get a king scorpion? Because in the beginning of the movie, the Rock, whatever his mummy name was in the movie, he eats one.
Okay.
Right? And I'm like, could we get a king scorpion to photograph with the DVD for the cover of the ad? And we're like, yeah, we can do that. So that's so cool because we got a king scorpion and we were able to photograph it with some sand and the DVD, and it was really cool. But the cool part of that was the fact that after we were done with the photo shoot, I got to hold the king scorpion in my hand.
Okay.
And he crawled on my hand, you know.
Right.
And those things they're about the size of a small fist.
Okay.
You know, they're pretty large.
Yeah.
And you think, oh my gosh, if it stings me, well, they're the least venomous of the scorpion family, and it's just like a bee sting.
Okay.
And since I'm not allergic to bees, no big deal.
No big deal. Yeah.
So then it was like, hey, let's get crazy with this. And we put him on my shirt and he crawled up my chest towards my face. And we got a photograph, but I can't find it anywhere, of me looking down at it, you know, and it's crawling right at my face.
Right.
Amazing. I thought that was a cool experience.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we thought that would be a great topic for today.
Yeah.
Phobias and fears. So while many people know about the common phobias like arachnophobia, fear of spiders, we just talked a little about that. Acrophobia, the fear of heights.
Fear of heights.
Hemophobia or hematomophobia, which is fear of blood, which makes sense.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
Claustrophobia, the fear of closed-in spaces.
That one.
But there are also so many more lesser known and very specific phobias that you're probably not aware of.
Okay.
And I found a few to talk about.
Okay, cool. That sounds fun.
First of all,
right.
What are phobias? A specific phobia is a type of anxiety disorder involving an intense fear of an object or a situation. The fear becomes a phobia when it's irrational, meaning the anxiety or the fear experienced is disproportionate to the actual danger or threat.
Okay.
It lasts at least 6 months and significantly impacts your daily life.
That seems long.
It does, right?
Yeah.
To know if you got the actual phobia, that's got to be a duration. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Specific phobias cause distress when people are faced with that particular object or situation they fear, and they often go to great lengths to avoid it.
Okay.
Do you have any phobias?
That's a tough question. Phobia, no, but I think, like I said earlier, the whole snake thing startles me. I don't have a fear of flying or a fear of falling from heights or anything like that. I don't have a fear of drowning. So, no, nothing. I don't think that jumps out at me. You?
Yeah, I have a fear of heights.
You do?
So, what did we say that was? Whatever the fear of heights name was.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it happened when I was a child.
Okay.
And I know exactly how and when it happened.
Okay.
Because I was climbing a tree.
Okay.
And I used my dad's rickety wooden ladder to get up into the tree and lost my balance and fell out of the tree on top of the ladder, thus making me afraid to do that again, right?
Yeah.
And I obviously wasn't too worried about when I was young. And then it really became much more of a debilitating fear for me in my older age.
Right.
So we were on a family trip to Chicago and went up to the Willis Tower, and everybody wanted to go up top to the observation deck. And they have those new glass floor sections you can walk out on.
Yeah.
No way. I'm at the interior of the building, and I won't even go near the window.
Gripping onto the wall.
Gripping onto the wall.
Right.
And you know it's a phobia and a fear because I'm shaking. I can't uncontrollably shake. I can't stop.
Yeah.
And my girls were like, "Dad, come out here. And I could not stand on that glass.
Right.
But what I did do is I put my foot out there with them, and we took a picture of our feet, and that's as much as
you're going to do. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But what's really weird is I've gone bungee jumping and skydiving.
Really?
So bungee jumping in my 20s.
Yeah.
And so I was afraid, but adrenaline is so high. So I knew while I'm going up, and it was on a crane, and you jump over some water, and the water was only 2 feet deep. So could have died. Right. So I knew if I wasn't going to do it, and they count to 3, they'll do it 3 times. And if you don't go, we're coming down.
Right.
And they went 3, 2, 1, and I just fell. Because I did it with on my ankles.
Yeah.
So you just fell. And going up, I'm getting nervous, and I couldn't really look at the horizon. I couldn't look around because the fear is too great.
Right. Is there a certain height that gets to be too much for you? Or is it?
No, I'd be on top of the roof of my house for whatever need,
and
I could shake and fall off.
Okay. And we did in Vegas. We went ziplining. We did ziplining on Fremont Street.
You know, it didn't bother me at all.
Didn't bother you at all.
Isn't that weird?
Because that's like you start up like 5 stories up.
Yeah, but if you noticed when we were there with Matt, I wasn't standing near the edge.
That is true. And we also maybe had a cocktail or two in us. At the
Right. It helps a lot.
Maybe.
But I went skydiving for a gift to myself when I turned 40.
Okay.
And it was tandem.
Okay.
And again, adrenaline. It was the most amazing experience. I was not afraid at all.
Yeah.
But my guide, Jumpin' Joe Johnson, I remember that to this day because he was amazing. He was so calming and so fun to be with.
Right.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go skydiving. Haven't done it. And one of the people that work for me, she is a skydive instructor. Like every weekend, she goes and skydives.
Well, you should go do it.
I know. I totally should. I know. And I think this might maybe be the year I bite the bullet and just go.
So I got one thing to note in skydiving, and we bought the picture package, and I can show you those pictures. I have those pictures. Okay. There is a lot of skin on your face, which ripples.
Yes, it does.
In the video, you can see it rippling.
Yeah.
You know, and also a bit of advice: don't open your mouth.
Right? Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, because
yeah, it's no bugs flew in or anything like that, but it just dries out in a second.
I'm sure. Yeah,
and then
fun.
There's a whole height issue with my head. I get a really severe headache.
Yeah,
you know, and that happened, but I was like, overlook it, man. You're
right.
Fall into the earth.
Does that tie in with like you have a slight fear of flying as well? Does that tie into that? Is it the height thing or just the airplane?
It's the pressure.
The pressure. Okay.
So, you know, when we fly together, I have to be a little bit inebriated and I have to take sinus medication and I got to prep for it.
Yeah, right.
I got to make sure I drink a ton of water, take sinus medication, and I have a shot or a beer or a couple of drinks before I get on the plane.
Yeah.
Then I'm much more calm.
Oh, yes. Yes.
You know, and the fear comes in when you're coming down in altitude and I would get a piercing headache right above my eye and you swear, I'm going to go blind. My eye is going to pop out.
Right.
And I talked to my doctors and they were like, okay, it's sinus related.
Okay.
And that's why. And as soon as I do the sinus medicines and do that, except for the alcohol, if I do the rest of it, it actually does get better.
Right. That makes sense. Okay. I get that. So how common are phobias?
They got to be common, right?
Common. So specific phobias affect an estimated 9.1% of the U.S. adults every year, with a higher prevalence among females, which is about 12.5%, than males, just under 6%. It's estimated that 12.5% of U.S. adults will experience a specific phobia at some point in their life.
Check.
Phobias can be serious and potentially debilitating, or lead to debilitating mental health problems. Misinformation and misunderstanding still surround phobias, which can make people living with a phobia feel that their condition is trivialized or even mocked. So kind of our point today is not to make fun of anybody or make fun of a phobia, but just kind of shed some light on some of these and kind of explain them a little bit.
And learn about a few of them that we've never heard of.
Right, absolutely. So hopefully this affects none of you, but if it does, hopefully some information will help. So here we go. Brian, you got the first one? Or I have the first one. Oh, I have the first one.
Yeah, it's you.
It's me. Wah, wah. Okay, here we go. I'm afraid of going first, Brian.
Okay. I don't think that's not on my list.
Not on your list. All right. First one. Nomophobia, which is the fear of being without your mobile phone.
What?
Yeah,
is that real?
Oh, that's real. Yeah.
I mean, I always have my phone with me.
I do too. I wouldn't call it a phobia, but if it's not with me, like I do freak out a little bit. But so the fear of being without your phone, people with nomophobia experience excessive anxiety about not having the phone with them, their battery being low, or their phone being out of service. Regardless of the circumstances, not being able to use their phone causes people with nomophobia to become panicked and experience extreme symptoms of anxiety. This rare phobia often stems from cell phone addiction, which is fairly common. Research suggests that around half of men and women have cell phone-related anxiety, with 23% of male students labeled as nomophobic, with 77% checking their phones over 35 times daily.
That's excessive.
That's excessive.
Now,
yes,
I understand in today's culture, everything's on your phone. And when they said students labeled as nomophobic, that was interesting to me because maybe it's not so much our generation that has this phobia. Yeah. Although, I mean, my nose is in the phone. Right. It's 24/7.
It's in the phone a lot. Yeah. Me as well. But not as bad as it's like I watch my kids and like they grew up with their phone, so like they watch YouTube videos and TikTok videos. I mean, everything's on their phone.
Always on their phone.
Always on their phone. And what's funny, I think for Christmas last year, my youngest daughter Kayla asked, "Can I get a TV in my room?" And I literally laughed at her and said, "No, you're on your phone all the time. Why would I put a TV in your room?"
Well, and that's how we watch TV. And I don't, because I'm of the generation who watches the show.
Right.
And my kids will watch the show, air quotes in the air here, and you look at their phone at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, how do you?
Yeah.
I don't.
I can't. I have to focus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't
and
do both.
Even your age to my age, we're a little bit. We're in the same generation, but we're still different in the fact that I'm still using printed paperwork here to read this actual text about the phobia, and you're using your computer.
Yes.
So
crazy. And that's just 5 years.
I'm old school.
You're old school. I'm old school. Not using a tablet, using a computer. I used a tablet once, so like, nah, computer, it's easier. Yeah. So. All
right, I got one here.
Okay.
And it's gonna take me a minute here. It's an odd one. Arachibutyrophobia. Okay, let's say that. Arachibutyrophobia.
We'll go with that. Yes.
It sounds pretty good. Mm-hmm. It's the fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth.
Okay.
What? Okay, so apparently it affects people in varying degrees. Mm-hmm. While anyone can experience this, those with, I'll say that phobia, have an extreme fear of the sensation of it on the roof of their mouth. Some individuals with the condition may only eat a small amount of peanut butter, while others avoid it altogether. They believe that there is a very rare phobia that can stem from the greater phobia of sticky things or the fear of choking. Okay. And when I read that, I'm like, okay, I get that.
That makes a little more sense then.
Because you do get that in your mouth, and you're like, okay, there's that quick second, that moment of like, I need some water.
Right.
Can also stem from a traumatic incident with peanut butter, which, such as choking or being allergic to it.
Right. So the allergic thing is, I don't want to say funny to me, but so again, we're from a different generation. And when we were kids, like our parents just fed us everything, right? And when
you had to eat what they made.
Had to eat what they made. And when my kids were growing up, people have conversations about, well, what if your kids are allergic to peanut butter? I'm like, I don't know, let's give them some, see what happens.
Yeah.
So
see if they blow up.
See if they blow up or not, right? And so that's kind of how I approach it. Like I'm not gonna be afraid of them having an allergy to it. Like, let's find out if they do, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Like when I was young, I was allergic to bee stings. When I was 8 or 9, I got stung by bees, and I blew up with hives. And
do you have to carry an EpiPen?
No, because I got stung later in life, 10 years later, 16, 17, and just nothing. I mean, you got a little welt, and that was it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of the same thing with food allergies. Like, yes, I believe people have food allergies. They're allergic to food, but is it potentially worse because they've avoided those foods their whole lives? Like maybe if you slowly introduced it, would that reduce it?
There's a lot of literature out on that.
Yeah, a ton. And that's a whole different podcast. But
which I don't know that we're going to go into.
No, we're not going to.
But, we said you're allergic to bee stings. I'm allergic to penicillin.
Oh.
And when I was a kid, I wasn't.
Right.
Until I was an adult and had to get penicillin for whatever happened. Mm-hmm. I broke out in hives.
Yeah.
And so that was in my 20s, and I've never had penicillin since.
Yeah, peanut butter. I eat about probably 12 tablespoons of that a day. So that's
well, so do I. It's my daily breakfast.
I love it. Love it. It's good protein. All right, next one. Plutophobia, which is the fear of money.
How are you getting all these easy ones?
I know how to work the system, my friend. Yeah, so many people probably wish they had more money, but plutophobia is a fear of money or wealth. People with plutophobia may fear wealthy people or fear becoming wealthy themselves. They generally dread money or having to deal with it.
I'm not fearful of becoming wealthy.
Right.
I know I'm not going to become wealthy.
Exactly. So it's definitely not a fear. I would like to have that fear because
I don't know. I don't want the fear. I just want the wealthy part that comes with
it. People with this fear may potentially sabotage their careers to avoid making more. I shouldn't laugh at that. Sabotage their careers to avoid making more money or becoming wealthy. The fear of becoming wealthy may stem from a fear of the responsibilities and pressures associated with it, or the fear of being the victim of a robbery.
So I can understand if you're a victim.
Yes, that I can understand.
But I think that creates trauma elsewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, people who don't have this fear probably cannot for the life of me, cannot understand it.
Yeah. And you see stories all the time where people like they win the lottery or somebody who's super famous or a sports star, whatever. And the one that comes to mind for some odd reason is MC Hammer.
Yeah.
I was a huge MC Hammer fan back in the day.
I bet you were.
I was huge. And
did you have the pants?
I did not have the pants, but I did go see him in concert. And at one part of the concert, we were on the main floor and he'd walk through the crowd and singing a song. I didn't know what one it was. And I got to touch his shoulder as he walked by. MC Hammer. But he was.
You're so starstruck.
I know, right? But in the early 90s, height of fame, and he had this huge house and his huge posse and everything. Well, now, I mean, the guy couldn't be, I mean, he has nothing to his name. He has nothing to show for it anymore.
Right.
And those kind of things I think happen all the time. And to me, that's more just a lack of money management than the fear of money.
Sure. Money management.
Money management, yeah.
All right, the next one's mine. Oh my gosh.
This is a short one.
What the heck? Are you doing this on purpose?
Yes.
All right. Oh my gosh. Bear with me. This is super long. Okay, it's Hypupa tu maustro suswiptililophobia. I said that pretty well.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Guess what it is? The fear of long words.
Sounds about right.
Well, and ironically,
yeah,
it's the longest word in the dictionary.
How many letters?
36 letters.
Holy buckets.
And I'm not going to say it again, so hopefully you got that the first time.
Hit rewind.
But, yeah. Another name for the phobia is, okay, here we go. Sesquiptilophobia.
Oh, yeah, that's easier to say.
That is a little bit easier.
Much easier.
It's half the letters.
Half the letters.
It is believed that the phobia of long words develops from being embarrassed by pronouncing long words incorrectly. This may occur while reading aloud in front of a class as a child. Mm-hmm. The phobia can also be common in people with dyslexia.
Oh, that sounds about right.
I should have this fear. Yeah. One would think I should have this fear because if you recall in the past podcast, we're talking about speech class and how I would be embarrassed.
Right.
And my bright red ears. That's because of reading in front of people. Just being in front of people is a fear.
Right. And look at you now. Now you're a podcast host going up to...
I only see one person in front of me.
That is true. That is true.
Who is my buddy.
That's right.
And I can talk to you.
All day long.
Yep.
Hey, this is Rob. I wanted to take a moment to talk about Spring Green. I've been using them since 2007. They provide fertilizer, weed control, lawn insect control, and core aeration services for my lawn. They also spray for mosquitoes, which is huge in Minnesota, and new later this year, liquid aerations and home pest control. They're a locally owned and operated company, super easy to get a hold of and work with. They'll give you the attention and service that you deserve. Visit their website at spring-green.com for a price quote specific to your property and to sign up for service. You can even register for autopay or prepay to save a little bit of cash right there on the website, or shoot them a message with any questions. That's spring-green.com, spring-green.com. All right, the next one is globophobia, which is the fear of balloons.
Really?
Yeah, well, that's what it says. The level of fear varies from person to person and can range from avoiding being near balloons to avoiding places with balloons altogether. In some people, the fear is so great that even seeing a balloon on television triggers intense anxiety.
Well, with the movie It.
This is probably not helping the cause. This rare fear can be especially hard for young children, as balloons are often present at children's birthday parties. Globophobia is usually brought on by a traumatic experience with a balloon as a child, such as popping a balloon or being frightened by the noise. It can also be linked to the fear of clowns or chorophobia. That's close. As the two are often found together. So funny, when I first read this one, at first, you ever seen the movie Dodgeball?
Yes.
Okay. And the antithesis is Globo Gym.
Okay.
So I thought it was a fear of gyms at first.
Oh,
Sorry, it's fear of balloons.
No, I could see, especially if you'd have a latex allergy.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
Fearful of the balloons.
Yeah. But I can also see as a child, like somebody sneaks up behind you and pops a balloon. I could see how that could freak you out and stay with you for a while.
Could stay with you, but I don't know. I did it.
Yeah. I still like going into dark rooms where nobody's at, and then as soon as somebody else walks by, I jump out and go, boo.
Did you see? Yeah. Okay. So I used to do that to my sister all the time.
Yeah.
But did you see on TikTok those people that will do the whole face paint black?
No.
Everything. Painted all black. Obviously, their eyes are white.
Yeah.
And then their smile, their teeth are white.
Oh, good
and then they'll sneak up while somebody's in bed or whatever.
Yeah.
And they'll just sit next to them, waiting for them to see.
Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh. I want to do it so bad, but my wife would divorce me.
Oh, she would kill you. She would absolutely just call the cops out. She would murder you.
All right. The next one is paganophobia.
Oh, that's an easy one.
Yeah, it's not bad. You know what it is?
What?
The fear of beards.
Fear the beard.
So fear the beard because you know what? They'd be afraid of us. We both have beards.
Both have beards.
This usually stems from an alarming incident with a bearded person. It could also arise from a person not liking that a beard hides someone's face. So, okay, I can understand that to a degree.
To a point, yeah.
People with paganophobia, ooh, I said that pretty fast,
You said it, yeah.
will avoid those with beards and may even have anxiety when looking at pictures with a person with a beard. That's really deep into the
That's
phobia.
deep, yeah.
They usually will not be friends with someone who has a beard and feel extremely nervous when talking to someone.
Oh,
with a beard.
that explains why my friend list got a little shorter recently.
So much of your friends have this phobia that they're like, I'm going to defriend him.
Right.
I'll take all of those other friends.
there you go.
To me,
You know who doesn't have a fear of beards? Our new little grandbaby.
yeah.
As I was holding her today, she looked right at me, smiled, and grabbed the heck out of my beard and yanked, and oh my God, it hurt.
Well,
Little 5 months old, they have a good grip.
yeah, but she can't grab anything on top of your head.
Oh, man. There you go. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thanks for that. I got actually a rim shot.
Yes, you did. All right. Next one. Decidophobia is
What?
the fear of making decisions.
No.
Yeah, right. That one kind of spells itself. Making any kind of decision can seem impossible for someone with decidophobia, as they do not trust their own opinions. A person with decidophobia may excessively rely on others to help them with decision making. They may even turn to external sources, such as astrology, for advice. Decidophobia could be part of a larger mental health disorder called dependent personality disorder. One of the symptoms of dependent personality disorder is relying on others to make decisions.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I think I know some people that might have decidophobia.
Work world.
Work and family world.
Family too, yeah. I work world to me is, that one kind of is funny because I come across this all the time, not only in my current job, but in previous jobs where some people just refuse to make decisions. And sometimes it's part of their job. You have to be the decision maker and decide which way something's going to go, but just absolutely refuse to be the one that's, throw their hand up and say, I made that call.
Well, how do you make it through
I don't know.
your job if you can't make a decision?
Yeah. It's also kind of like some drivers on the highway, going back to a previous podcast.
Are you annoyed by some drivers?
I quite am.
Is there a phobia for that out there?
There's definitely not a phobia, but I might be afraid to get into road rage incidents.
You might get into road rage.
I might.
Okay, so another is say that again.
Nope.
Isotrophobia,
There you go.
which is the fear of mirrors.
Ooh.
Now, aren't vampires then
Well, yeah.
have itrophobia?
That would be vampires, I would think, right?
Because I don't know, because they can't see them, so they have no reflection.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So what are they afraid? They don't see anything.
that's true. That's true.
But so I don't know.
Yeah.
It's up in the air.
Up in the air.
But this phobia is also sometimes referred to as spectrophobia or catopro. No,
Catoptro. Catoptrophobia. Let's go.
Catoptrophobia.
Let's go spectrophobia.
Oh my gosh, we just butchered that.
I butchered that.
People with this fear are unable to look at themselves in a mirror. The fear may also extend to any reflective surface.
Mm-hmm.
This fear may stem from suspicions about mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand the whole witchcraft thing in the world.
Yeah. Yep.
For instance, a person may be afraid of breaking a mirror because they believe it causes bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
Others may fear that they will be something supernatural in the mirror, such as a ghost.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's kind of interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. Superstitions about mirrors. So the fun house is out for these people.
The fun house is out. Isotrophobia can develop from low self-esteem as a person may feel ashamed of their physical appearance and not want to see in a mirror. It can lead to depression in some cases, which may require professional treatment in the form of counseling or medication.
Okay. They also wouldn't like to play the carnival game where you throw balls at the mirrors and try and break them.
Oh, that's like 7 years bad luck. 7 years bad luck. 7 years bad luck.
Right. Walking under a ladder as you're throwing balls at a broken mirror.
A black cat walks
and a black
by.
cat walks by. All right. This one is interesting. Puppophobia.
What is puppophobia?
It's a fear of puppets, dummies, and marionettes.
Okay, so there are some creepy marionettes.
There are saying some creepy puppets too. People with this phobia fear puppets, dummies, and marionettes, as with pedophobia, the fear of dolls.
Okay.
It's more common in children, but adults can be affected too. Like other phobias, there are thought to be both genetic and environmental causes to puppophobia. And popular culture, scary movies featuring evil puppet characters, could be a contributory factor too. So definitely movies would.
Movies.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Chucky.
Yeah. Oh,
all those. Yeah, that's really played into that.
and what's the new one I haven't seen? That Megan. Have you seen?
Oh yeah,
of
I've seen previews of Megan. I'm not gonna. I don't watch horror movies.
Creepy robot doll thing. Yeah,
I would. You know that when you're a child and you watch the scary movies.
Yeah.
And from then on, the rest of your life, you can't like put your foot outside of the bed covers
Yeah, right,
while you
yes,
sleep because you think something's going to grab it.
Yeah.
I am late in life, and I still can't do that. I'll like go to bed and like I want to stretch out my arm and hang my arm over the side of the bed, and I'm like, I'll do it for like a few seconds, like I'll pull that arm back in. Something's going to grab me. Yeah. How does that hang with you the rest of your life?
Right? You know what movie really freaked me out? And again, we're older, so Poltergeist.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And the part, and not the Poltergeist movie itself. Yes, it was a little. You know what's funny? That was a PG movie.
No way.
That was before PG-13 came out.
That can't be a PG
movie. It is.
movie.
Go look it up. It's a PG movie. But the scene that really freaked me out was right when everything was starting to get haywire in the kid's bedroom.
Yeah.
And the little clown on the chair. And it wasn't the clown.
I remember that.
But yeah, the clown disappears, and then he's looking forward to think it's under the bed, so he pulls up the covers and looks under the bed, or pulls up the sheets and looks under the bed. It's not there, and then he goes to the other side, pulls it up, it's not there, and he's like, "Oh, thank God!" And he sits back up in bed, and there's the clown looking right at him, wraps his arms around his neck, and freaks out.
And it's an old movie, so we can talk about it. But everything's like moving into the closet, and it opens up, and it's sucking everything in there.
Yeah,
and it's just scary, right? At the time. And you had to go, because it sucks into the little girl. And the dad goes in on a rope to retrieve her. And he's pulled through downstairs they were in the bathroom in the bathtub, I remember. With that really, I don't know what you call her, the seance woman that was guiding them through. And then she turns and she creepily says, "Go to the light! Go to the light!"
Oh man, yeah, the movie. That was an early '80s movie. And that's right when we first got cable and HBO, and that thing played nonstop on HBO. And I was in my early teens, and oh my gosh, yeah. But every time it was on, I watched it. Yeah, knowing I would be freaked out.
Did you watch Friday the 13th?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it, but not as much as Poltergeist.
Oh, well, when it came out and I was younger, and watched it because when Jason gets his head chopped off, that was like horrifying and amazing at the same time.
Right? Yeah. I was a big Friday the 13th horror movie, like when that first came out.
Yeah.
That was cool.
And Halloween.
Halloween, yeah.
Okay,
anyway.
Let's get off that. I'm already scared. All right, this next one is trypophobia.
Trypophobia, yeah.
Fear of holes and patterns.
Again, shouldn't laugh.
No, you shouldn't.
I totally shouldn't.
So it's an aversion to patterns of holes or circles that trigger a feeling of anxiety, repulsion, and disgust. This aversion can also manifest it as a fear of clusters of eyes. Ew. Have you seen that? I've seen this.
I've seen that.
And it's creepy.
Yeah.
But I don't have a fear of it. It's just creepy.
It's creepy.
It's like the spider walking over my foot. Yeah. That's it's creepy.
Yeah.
Especially when they are arranged in a way that resembles holes. Objects that commonly trigger trypophobia include honeycombs, sponges, sunflowers, and seeded fruits.
Okay. Makes sense.
I can understand that a lot because when you see like a whole cluster of eyeballs and eyes, it is creepy.
It's creepy. I'm picturing a SpongeBob episode though, and that's not creepy.
SpongeBob?
Yeah.
He's not creepy.
He's not creepy.
Can you sing the song?
We're living on a pineapple under the sea. skyscraper. No, I can't. All right. Next.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That was great.
All right, next one. Glossophobia, which is the fear of public speaking.
I think I have that.
Is that why I'm doing this one?
Yeah, because I'm afraid.
You're afraid. So it's a social anxiety disorder. It's the fear of public speaking. It causes intense anxiety and discomfort when speaking in front of others, often significantly impacting many aspects of life. People with glossophobia experience significant fear and anxiety when anticipating or facing public speaking situations.
So I have a fear of public speaking.
Okay.
But it doesn't, I don't know. It
doesn't stop you or inhibit you.
It does a little bit, actually. Okay. So what happens is for 24 hours prior to I know I have to speak, I've got anxiety.
Okay.
And I will start breathing heavier, not hyperventilating, but close to it. And when it gets closer and closer and closer, even when I've practiced whatever the speech might be, I am super fearful and I'm sweating. And all this happens. And I think it's truly the fear of being in front of and being judged.
Okay.
That's why this podcast, you're not judging me.
No.
Well, you're judgy Judgerson, but not at me.
Not at you. I think you're swell. So.
Swell?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I'm swell.
So you don't do the whole picture them in their underwear thing or naked or that whole...
No, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Yeah, I don't think that works either. I think that's kind of...
And I thought, you should conquer your fears.
Right.
Conquer your fears. Try to be a better person. Mm-hmm. And so what did I do? I was in the choir at church, and I said, I'll be a cantor.
Oh.
And I'll go up in front of the entire congregation and I'll sing.
Oh. How'd that go?
It didn't help my fear. I thought it would. I thought you're going to get comfortable with this. You're going to do it. It's going to get better. It just kept being more afraid of it at time. And eventually I realized, hey, you don't have to do that.
Yeah. Best intentions, but just pass.
I tried.
Hard pass. All right.
And lastly, we have what Rob mentioned earlier, clowrophobia. The fear of clowns.
Yes.
Which I completely agree.
Creepy clowns.
Psychological fear of clowns, which can stem from a combination of factors, including the uncanny nature of their appearance, the unpredictable nature of their behavior, and the potential for hidden intent. Dun, 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 dun. Clown makeup can mask facial expressions, making it difficult to decipher their true emotional state, which can be unsettling. Their exaggerated features and erratic actions also contribute to the sense of unease and potential danger. Plus, I think all the horror movies out there featuring clowns, every other one is a creepy clown. They've got to play into why this fear is
for sure
is there.
Every scary movie has a clown. Why?
Because they're creepy and scary.
Of course they're creepy and scary, but my gosh.
But you remember when we were little?
Yeah.
And clowns were a thing on TV, and they were always happy, and I can't remember Bozo.
Yeah. They were fun.
They were always fun.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted a clown at their birthday party.
Maybe it's a sign of the times, because like 50s and clowns were, everybody loved clowns, and then as you got to the 70s and 80s and horror movies, then they all went to shit. Yeah, right? All right, well, that's about it for today, everyone. Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow us on the socials, mainly Facebook and Instagram at and One More Thing Pod.
And drop us a line at One More Thing Pod at gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Oh, and one more thing. Phobias are intense, sometimes irrational, but don't let it get so bad that you stop living your life. Life is short. Enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Boo.
Hey.
I mean, bye.
Quit scaring me. I don't like that.
Boo.